When women and girls are empowered on their rights, they become unstoppable forces of change. Greetings, dear viewers, and thanks for joining us on another edition of Women's Voice. On today's edition, we are trying to amplify the voices of women on their rights, letting them know about their rights and how they can gainfully control their lives, gainfully control their society, gainfully be involved in societal issues, whereas whenever they know about their rights. On set today, we have very powerful ladies who are here to expound on these issues, on creating awareness, breaking the barriers, and creating awareness on the rights of women and girls in our communities, in the society, and in the world as a whole. This is a very, very difficult issue women face worldwide, not just in Cameroon, not just in a particular ethnic group, but the world at large. Women still face difficulties on their rights, be it sexual violence, be it GBV, and everything that surrounds keeping women away from knowing about their rights. With us on set, we have, like I said, incredible panelists who are here to share their experiences with us, to share their know-how with us, their opinion with us on how we could create our awareness about the rights of women. With us here, we have Larissa. Larissa is the focal person at Teen Alive, focal person of gender-based violence at Teen Alive. Greetings, Larissa, and welcome.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good evening.
Greetings to you. And we also have with us Nafisatu Issa, who is a special needs teacher, and she cuts across every walk of life. Greetings, Nafi.
Greetings, Mom. It's an honor to be here today.
And we also have with us Counselor Doreen, who is a counselor at Prime Counseling Services. Greetings, ma'am, and thanks for joining us.
Greetings, ma'am. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here today.
Okay, so before we dive into our discussion of today, we call on our viewers to share their opinions about our talking points today. You could get to us via the numbers on your screen, SMS us via WhatsApp or a normal SMS, and let us know what you think about our talking point. What is it that strikes you about the rights or creating awareness on the rights of women and girls and breaking the myth or the misconceptions that go about the rights of women and girls? So we're going to start with you, Larissa. What to you, when we talk of rights of women and girls, what are we talking about?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, and good evening, dear viewers. So, generally, when we talk about the rights of children, girls, we mean those human rights, those rights that you have from birth, that you're not supposed to pay a dime to have access to. And we'll talk about these rights. There are a good number of them. We have the right to life, we have the rights to equality, we have the rights to freedom, and we have the rights to health, education, and all that. The rights to nationality, that is the right to a name. And we see that in most of our communities, these rights seem to be a one-sided kind of thing, because in many societies we see women and young girls being deprived of some of these human rights, which we see unfair and not being okay. Like rights to education, we still have communities nowadays that a girl child is not supposed to go to school. We still have communities where a girl is being deprived of the right to a name or to a right to nationality. So that is why I will also come in to say that a lot is being done now, given that a good number of stakeholders have come in to tackle the situation. We have CSOs, we have the government, we have the community as well, who are coming in to fight against all these social norms. And I must say, I'm actually very impressed that we have my fellow panelists from the Mbororo community, which they are most of the people who really they deprive their girls the right to education, and have this very strong belief on early marriage, which is first, when a child goes to school, when a child does not go to school and is being sent out for marriage at an early age, you see that the child is being deprived from the right to education. The girl had dreams. Those dreams tend to die out the moment she's being sent out for marriage at a very young age. So these human rights, like I have mentioned, there are a good number of them. Freedom of speech, freedom of mm, yeah, freedom of speech.
to education.
Yes, freedom to education. So that is human rights to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. And to you, Councillor Doreen, what to you being in the counseling department, what to you is human rights or the
Okay.
girls' rights?
Human rights to me are those basic human rights that an individual gets, like she said, from when they were born. And the special thing about these things is it's specially made or adapted to the needs of people below the age of 18, because I think we're actually talking about children here, right? Are we talking about children?
Children, girls,
Below the age of 18. So according to the WHO and every other organization out there that you may know, even the Cameroon standards, a child is someone from between the ages of 0 to 18. So when we are talking about those human rights here and we are trying to narrow it down to children, we are talking about those human rights, right? Like she just mentioned some of them, education, and I don't want to get into all of them, that are specially adapted to individuals below the age of 18. I don't want to get into that a lot because I think she just spoke about it and she said a lot that I should have said.
Okay, thank you very much. And to you, Nafi?
Okay, ma. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Well, looking at child's right or maybe a human right, in first place, I believe these are entitlements that are given to us humans as from the time we are born, just like the other said. Now, going back to these rights in particular, I believe that these rights are set in place to protect a child from the time they are being born till the time they grow up into an adult. And we also know that human rights has diverse forms, and looking at but peculiarity to rights and violation of this right, we'll look at it from a perspective of children with special needs, girls with special needs, women with special needs, while switching direction to my people, that is my Muslim community where I come from, that is the indigenous community. All right, now when Miss Larissa was talking, she made mention of the fact that in our communities, most of our girls are deprived the right to education. Well, I like to counteract that because it used to be, but not before. As it stands, there are people like myself and others out there who are fighting against this use of the society. Our parents are coming to terms with the reality that we have right now, and they are giving us the access, they are giving us the support we need to have that right to education. And so many of them right now are putting a stop to forced early marriages. So I believe to an extent the people from the Bororo community are doing their best to give this right to the girls' children in particular. Nowadays they are even allowing us work, because as it stands, I'm a working lady, I'm not in the house. Before now they used to say the Muslim girl's place is at home, but the narrative is changing. So to an extent, I would like to say this right that we are entitled to, we are not being deprived of the right, even though not to all areas, but we are hoping that with more awareness, with more sessions like this, we are going to reach out to other areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that input, Nafi. And like she rightly said, their community is trying to eradicate forced marriages and no education for their girls, because they have seen the need and the importance of every individual to be educated and to know how to go about their lives from their own personal perspectives. Taking a look at these rights, we are creating awareness on the rights. What is the need of creating awareness on women's rights, on girls' rights? What was the need to even come up with this? Do you know, like, what is the need that you, as maybe an advocate, is doing this, is creating awareness rather on the rights of women and girls?
Okay, let me go first. Coming from a society or from a country where we are faced with the ongoing crisis, the crisis came like an eye-opener to most of us. It's not like some of these rights were not being deprived even before the crisis. They were, but as the crisis came in place, it's like it opened the eyes of many stakeholders to see that despite the crisis, rights were being deprived, and as the crisis came in, the deprivation has even doubled and tripled. And like you asked, what is like the question was
The need.
the need for us to fight for the rights of these girls, because we see with the crisis coming in, like I said, the deprivation has doubled, because we see that girls tend to suffer more because of the crisis, firstly, and also they tend to be the most violated because of the crisis, and they also tend to, they are not empowered.
Yeah,
So you see most of them,
always want to stay behind.
Yes, they most of them, they suffer, and some families have taken it, or I don't want to say they have taken the crisis like shelter for them to hide in order not to do the right thing. Like some parents now, the only thing is due to the crisis, I only have one farm, our house are being burned, I don't have money to send you to school, so please can you stay at home for your brother to go. So with us being in society, we see most of these things. We work in communities. You go in a community to carry out activity with young girls, like the name Teen Alive, we work with teenagers, and we'll focus more on teenage mothers. And the numbers in the community, they're alarming. And what is the cause? Because most of them, they say it's because of the crisis, they could not send them to school, they prefer to send their brothers, and they find themselves hawking on the street, which they end up getting pregnant and all
being
that.
Vulnerable, being sexually violated, and all of that.
That is it. And just you listening to those stories is already a call for concern, because in our organization we offer mental health and psychosocial support, and there are times you go into the community, into the field, you listen to those stories, and by the time you get home you might need more MHPSS than the girls, because of the stories you tend to hear. So first of all, hearing them, seeing them suffer, it's already a call for concern for the community to stand up and fight for the rights of these girls, because they are human beings. They are also, they have they should have equal opportunities like men. All the opportunities that the boys have towards all these rights, the girls should also have.
Thank you very much. And to you, Councillor Doreen, we look at this issue. You being a councillor, have you come across with a girl or a woman whose right has been violated, who sometimes they do not even know, most often they're going to shy away from opening up to what exactly they are going through? So when you come across someone who is going through maybe trauma or something like that, how do you talk the people out of their trouble?
Okay, thank you again. You're trying to make me give you an entire process, psychological process here, which is very impossible. Yes, I have encountered a lot of people who get to experience all these things we've been talking about since we sat here today. And most of the cases I've got to see are people like Teen Alive, the people Teen Alive works with. And then the second group of people are people who get to experience intimate partner violence. And they think it's very okay to experience those things. We've also had quite a number of people at Prime Counseling Services. We've had teens below 18. We've had people who are being sexually harassed, molested by their families and people very close to them. And some of them think it's very okay. He's my husband. It's okay for him to do whatever he wants to do to me. They do not even know that they have certain rights that can protect them from such things. The thing is, it's quite okay. I think that's one of the reasons why we are here today, to generally raise an awareness for these people to know that they have rights and there are certain things that should not be done to them. So generally, when we meet people like that, we cannot force a therapeutic process on them. We first of all try to psycho-educate them and ensure that they understand the place where they are at that moment and how they can walk past that place without getting into more complications with their lives. When they give us their consent and they are willing to walk out of that place, then the therapeutic process is a whole journey on its own that I cannot begin to explain to you. But I think after this program, people have the permission and you have the right, we're talking about rights, to contact us if you will need to go through some of these processes and know how we can help you legally, help you psychologically, and so on. But yes, of course, you get to meet a lot of people on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, thank you very much. And to you, Nafi, you dealing with children with special needs. Are their rights sometimes violated, be it by their parents, be it by other individuals? How do you handle this issue?
Okay, Ma, thank you very much for that wonderful question. Well, as it stands, we all know that persons with disabilities suffer the most. I would say they are more vulnerable than the normal, in quotes, because these children don't even know their rights. Some of them can barely even stand up for themselves and say, this right is put in place for me, or this is what you're supposed to do and not otherwise.
Yeah.
Now, looking at human rights violation, we see persons with disabilities being exploited in their communities by parents, neighbors, friends, or maybe even outsiders that they don't know. I'll take an example of a scenario I came in contact with. There was a young boy who was raped by another boy in his community.
No.
But now, given that the boy is a special need, he did not even know what was happening or what has been done to him. But till date, he's still suffering the effects of that incident that took place some years ago. But till date, it's still affecting him. So what we do as educators, we talk the child. If it happens in a situation where we are talking to the child, maybe the child does not get, maybe now we work one-on-one with the parents to see to it that whatsoever we are doing at school to help that child come out of the trauma, come out from that, let me say, fright from the situation. We always make sure that we work hand in glove with the parents, with the school administrators, and sometimes we even go out of our way to carry out research on how best to handle the situation. You know, we may never know it all.
That's right.
At some point. So it's imperative on us that we give support to these children. Most of them, if you don't support, they may enter into depression added to their disability. Some of them may even isolate themselves. Some of them may suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. So it is very vital as educators, as parents, that we collaborate to see to it that whenever our children are faced with such circumstances, maybe they have been exploited, maybe they have been harassed, maybe they have been abused somewhere, or maybe even deprived the right to education or access to any health facility, it is imperative on us that we raise awareness. We let them know that they have certain rights that they must have on them, and if violated, they should know where to go for support. They should know who to turn to at that point in time. So I'm calling out on all the educators. You all should keep on doing the best you can do to make sure that our learners with special needs and the regular learners don't suffer from trauma, from depression because of a violation of a particular right that was done to them. That will be injustice to those children. So please, let's stand up and work together.
Thank you very much, Nafi. And still to you, you know, parents, like we said the other time, parents who have children with special needs do not still accept these children. More or less, very few of them even pay attention to their children's needs, because especially those who are who do not talk well, like they don't really know how to cope. Are there signs that these parents master when communicating with these children? Because there might be a girl who has been violated, but she cannot say it out. So I think, how do you encourage parents to be keen to these children, to be keen to them, such that if they go through any traumatic situation, they can easily connect with their parents or their guidance and talk and just make a sign that is going to make them aware of something that is going wrong with them?
Okay, first things first, I would like to say, if you are a parent having a child with special needs and you're finding it difficult to accept that is the situation of your child. I know it's tough, but definitely with time you should accept your child for who he or she is.
Exactly.
This is not even from a human perspective, but as a Muslim, I believe that the Almighty will not give you something that you cannot bear. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. He will not burden you more than you can bear. So now going back to some gestures, especially when you have a child maybe with speech impairment or maybe a child with autism who cannot talk at that point in time. If you are close to a child, definitely that child will be close to you.
That's right.
First things first, get close to your children. Show them love and concern, because every little thing that will happen to that child will find a way to signal you about what is happening.
That's right.
I take for example in school where we teach, usually some of our learners, they want to pee, but they don't talk. They will simply hold your hand and touch their trouser. Already we are aware that this child wants to pee. So when it concerns, let me say rape for example, if that happens to a child who is not talking and that child is comfortable with the parents, that child is in an environment where that child is accepted, it's loved, I believe in one way or the other that child is going to use a gesture that will lead to discovering the fact that something has happened.
Yeah.
For instance, if a girl child is being raped and maybe bleeding, that child might be even scared of the blood.
That's
for some who
right.
don't know. So the child might even remove the pants or maybe even touch the blood and show you.
That's
So
right.
long as you, the parent, you are showing that child the consent, I believe these
going to
children
open
will
up.
come back to you. Of course, when you give them support and they feel secured around you, behold, in one way or the other, they are going to communicate their needs to you, and definitely you get to help them.
Thank you very much, Nafi. And that brings me to this. Recently, we attended an event, like a party, and there was a child there who had speech impairment. So she just sat on her own. A little girl, she sat on her own. She did not interact with anybody. But then when one of the people we were with, she started talking, she started playing with this child, that child just loosened up. Like she felt love in the air, and she interacted with everybody. She was just happy. You know, when you come to somewhere and you just want to segregate yourself from every other, that's how she came in. And I was watching her. Every other person was watching, but then no one could walk up to her to just, when the other person went to her and started playing together, she felt like she's in heaven. She played and she even ran around. I felt like these children really need the love. We talk about love every day. I think these children with special needs, they need most of that love. If the parents themselves begin by accepting these children, they themselves will even know their rights. But then when you don't accept a child, a special needs child or a child with special ability, you already deprive the child from even realizing that they have a right. Some of them even feel like they are better dead than moving around, because in their homes they don't accept them. In their families, in their communities, they are like a taboo. Like you see a child with a special need, you feel like that child does not belong. Yeah, that child does not belong. I think parents, you always say these parents, you should accept these children and educate them. I know the teachers are doing a lot, but then they cannot do it all. They also need your help at home. So educate these children, let them know about their rights, let them know that no one is supposed to touch you, no one is supposed to force you to do the things you cannot do. If you do it to them gradually, even if they cannot really understand, but if you do it to them 3-4 times, I'm sure they will understand that what you're trying to tell them is for their good. So to not take advantage of these children with special needs, because they also have, like the name goes, special needs. They also have a part of them which is very, very special that you and I, we have to discover on a daily. Okay, moving now on to, we know we're talking about girls' rights, women's rights. We know sexual violence is it's against the rights of girls and women, and we have a lot of organizations advocating for this sexual violence, GBV. So to you, Ma'am Larissa, do you want to tell us what is sexual violence? How do you handle a sexually violated girl? What is it to you?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. One of our most thematic coverages, we have gender-based violence, and sexual violence is a form of gender-based violence. Yes, and we know sexual violence generally refers to any non-consensual sexual act or
Yeah.
even an attempt, which involves using coercion, threats, or force.
Yeah.
And when we talk about sexual violence, there are a good number of them. First on the list, we have rape. Yes, which is the most common form of sexual violence we have now in our community, and we tend to see on a daily basis. It keeps rising.
Yeah.
The statistics keeps growing. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's changing. But rape has now become the talk of the day, that one or two organizations cannot even go for a day or two without having issues of rape coming to the organization. So, like I mentioned earlier, at the Teen Alive organization, we have mental health and psychosocial support expert. I will come up when we talk about victims of rape. Immediately we have a call about something like that. We go. First of all, you go in with the dignity kits for the girl,
Okay.
and the MHPSS expert comes in with the psychosocial phase 8.
Okay.
Because we believe that is what that girl needs at that moment. And you go in, you give her this PFA, the psychosocial phase 8 that the child needs, and when the child is calm, you will get to talk to her, you ask what she wants. Because when it comes to issues concerning rape, we have this thing about consent.
Okay.
And when it comes to the humanitarian content, the survivor must give consent before you proceed to bring in any legal support or assistance. If the perpetrator says no, I don't want this, you end at that level. At times you're pain, you're like, hey, what is this you're doing?
And you know, most often it's because perpetrators do not want to approve. They don't want to give their approval. That's why the rape cases keep increasing.
Yes.
Because if you're being raped and you want to stand out and you say, no, this is the person who did it and I want justice for it, I think we would have had reduced cases of rape.
Yeah, and in some cases, the parents too, they play a great role. Because you come across a child saying, auntie, this is the uncle that violated me.
Yes.
I want justice. I want this uncle to go in for it. You go home, you get to the lawyer, people are coming back the next day. The child really, that is what you see how the child wants it. You come back the next day, it's like, auntie, when it's like this, I don't want it again, let's just forget it like that.
Can you
And the
imagine?
mother is there, you really feel, you really see the child wanting
Being
to,
very tense
yes,
and
but you see
uncomfortable.
that is a pressure from the parents that we have come across many cases that you go in, we reach at the court level, and it just get the one month
Just
the child
dies.
calls
It's
you
natural
and
death.
say, please, I don't want this. And in cases like that, I tend to feel for the children because we are talking about rights here.
Yeah.
First of all, their rights
Has been
they don't have any
violated.
freedom of
That's
speech.
right.
They are the ones that have gone. We have had a case. They called us. We were outside. The doors were locked, and they were discussing about. It was a family of the perpetrator of the act. They
Okay.
were discussing on the amount for the family to pay the girl's family. And by the time they came, when we stood outside, we waited. They discussed, finished. By the time they finished, they told us that they don't want to continue the case because the society will start looking at them as if they are very wicked and things like that. They had paid money, and that is how it.
That was
That
it.
was it.
So
That
what
was how the
happens
case
now
went.
to the girl? Her
What happens to
self-esteem,
the
her
girl?
dignity,
Trauma
and all
and all
exactly.
that is why we see most of them leaving letters behind, dying, doing all that because they cannot live with the thought of it. We had a scenario of a girl who was raped, left on the street. The parents left her and went to the market. They knew she was okay, but she left it later that her nudes were all over social media, and she could not bear looking her classmates
course,
into
she-
the eye.
yeah, that's
yes.
right.
So I believe parents too have a very big role to play when it comes to issues of sexual violence. And in some cases, the parents are not also exempted. Like I said, when I come to sessions like that, I like to talk about practical examples because we're in the field 247.
Right. Okay.
Yes, so we have a good number of cases now coming, parents to child, and we all that we tend to ask what is really happening, because why would you as a father give birth to a girl
Child
and you
and
tend
you
to see
violate that
her
child? The thing
sexually
is,
attractive.
when we get to this particular point of parent-child violation, it kills me, like it kills me inside, because I don't understand how a father, your own child, like you violate your own child, how do you face the world? And to some of them, it's not a problem. It's a normal thing. They'll tell you, it's my child, so I decide what to do and all of that. So how do people handle those cases? What is being done to those fathers or those mothers or whoever is doing, whatever family member is perpetrating that act? What do you do to it?
Like I mentioned before, when it comes to issues of rape, you only do what the survivor says.
That's right.
We had one here, she was even pregnant, she had a child with the father. We came in, we were like, what do you want us to do? Because I think that was the first of such instance that I had to handle. I was like, what do you want us to do? He says, no, it's my father. The only thing I want is to go back to school and to take care of my child. Yes, we came with the education support and we left it at that level. She had said she doesn't want anything to be done to the father. But I know Cameroon law punishes that, but they can only be the ones to come in. But as an organization, once the child, she was already 21, so she can give consent. Yes, if she can't give consent, you cannot go ahead to do that against her will. So the support, she said she needed education support. We gave that, and that was it.
Please permit me to say something on this. I don't want to define sexual violence, just said something on that, but I picked something from what all of you were saying, and it's something that has been going on now. And it's something that we should pay attention to, that the perpetrators are well known to these kids, are well known to the women. Statistics have proven that these perpetrators, all the violators, are very close people to us. And I see sometimes looking at my little niece and I'm like, I'm scared to even leave her with her uncle because you don't know what is going to happen with them. It's crazy. And I'm just bringing this up because she was saying that most of them, when you meet them, like immediately, they are ready to move on. But the time you go up on coming back, they've changed their mind. That's because the perpetrators are very close to these kids. Very close to them. Please, we are psycho-educating the community. Let us try to stop all of this. I don't know what's wrong. I know there's a spiritual dimension to everything. We really cannot explain how you give birth to your child and then you violate her to this extent. We were called at the regional hospital in Maiwan, Limbe, and we went there, saw a 3-year-old child that was raped by her uncle. Like, we saw the child literally scattered. And I'm like, what's happening? What will make you take this little girl for 1 week, you keep her and you keep doing this to her? This is Limbe, for heaven's sakes. We have prostitutes everywhere. We have ladies who you just need to woo them a little bit and just tell them something nice, and they are willing to give themselves to you voluntarily. Why do you need to let these kids go through this? Parents, please, I want you to pay attention to your kids. Take note of these signs when they are no longer themselves. My little niece came home one day from school, and for some reason a child who is very vocal just started. She was so quiet and she was always in the room, and I took note of that because it's unlike her. And I went close to her, had this conversation with her, and she said the little boys in their school take out whatever is in their trousers and they put into the little girls. You getting that? And that's because I could pick the sign, and I know that this is not how my daughter is. And how did we even get to that place? I created a safe environment for her. And that is one thing that guardians and parents should do. Your child wants to communicate and you're already shouting at them, and the next time something happens, they are like, okay, I'm not going to talk to mommy, she's going to beat me. Create a safe environment. Anyways, we are going to come to that.
Thank you very much for that contribution. And we are talking of GBV, that's sexual violence is part of GBV. So, but that's just one of rights. That's one of the things that are against the rights of young girls and women. We also have a scenario where women are not freedom of speech. Women in some families, women don't say a word. Like, it's a taboo for you to even give your opinion about something, and that's very bad, because even in our local communities, we have communities that have said that it's only men that can make decisions. Even in local councils, you have just men. You have these quarter councils, you hardly see a woman there, because even if a woman is there, it's just for fancy, because they'll hardly take what you say serious. So how can we break this myth? How can we break this barrier that surrounds women not being aware that their opinion counts? They can always say things which are okay for the community to follow.
Okay, ma, I would like to take this one. First things first, I would say let's continue to create awareness. Because if we are looking at our mothers back then, we realize that they had very little to say in the house.
Yeah.
Fathers had the upper hand. At the level of the communities, as she said, women had the... In fact, women are not even part. You can just go there for decoration. Let them see
Yes,
her
they
face.
always say the women
Yes.
should do the cooking.
That is it.
And the men are making decisions,
That
the
is
women are doing the cooking.
Exactly. So I would say that if we are creating more awareness through sessions like this, maybe one-on-one sensitization
Yeah.
with your friend, your neighbor, your sister, auntie, or whosoever that's around you, I think women can now take a step ahead. We all know that we cannot be fighting for women's rights if we don't empower ourselves.
That's right.
So let's take the bull by the
The
horn.
horn.
Yeah, I'm getting it right. Let's take it that way, and from there, if I'm doing something that's right, I believe another woman might be attracted to what I'm doing.
That's right.
So we can do one-on-one talks with other people out there to let them know that they have rights that they have to stand up to, especially the right to freedom. Nobody should imprison you in the house that you don't have the right to say anything. When they are doing something out there, go and give your opinion.
That's right.
Every opinion counts.
That's right.
Yes, I believe in the law, no one left behind. So when it comes to freedom of speech, I see no reason why women should be left behind, be it in the hospitals, be it in the educational sector, be it in the traditional or cultural sector. I believe that the voice of every woman matters. Let's empower ourselves and uplift the standards of women in our community through awareness.
You know why she was talking about let's talk, let's speak up and all that, and the only thing going through my mind is, can they even speak up?
That's another thing.
Do we
Are
have
they
the
willing?
boldness to? Because our habits are formed from the home, right? The environment from which we grew. You're among men and they don't permit you talk. So now she's saying, go speak up. Lift up your voice. There's freedom of speech, and you don't even know how to open your mouth and construct one sentence because you've consistently been bullied not to talk, right? Please attend public speaking trainings.
Yeah.
We have a lot of those conferences and workshops. Empower yourself so that when you sit before the camera like this, you will not faint. Now that we are advocating for the women, let's not give them the platform and they don't have anything to say. Because I think one thing that puts the men on the table every time is that they bring something on the table. So let's not put you on the table and they're asking, what are you bringing on this table? And you actually have nothing to bring on the table.
Let's bring the whole table.
So, still concerning women's right, like this is a social media era, and every woman is entitled, or let me not say every woman, but then you're entitled to social media. There are a lot of webinars on women empowerment. There are a lot of community workshops, community services that deal with women empowerment, how to empower women, be it as a mother, be it as a societal person, be it as a community leader. I think there are a lot of these things that women should not just keep themselves locked up. No, that one this one not their thing.
Of course.
That's the way no, that one no be my thing. Even the women that are not educated, it is open for everybody. I think they go down to the lowest, like whatever can be done, they can do it with any other woman. So you just have to open up. Women should get empowered. Empower yourselves. What can you do? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you know you can do to empower or to create more awareness on rights? We are talking about rights. What is it that a woman by you is doing, and you know deep within that it's against her rights, and you as a woman cannot walk up to her and tell her this you're doing is wrong, even if the family is behind you, what you're doing violates your rights. So women should speak up. It's important. Speak up. If you are being retarded from even going to school, there's some young girls, we have a lot of young girls who do not go to school. They spend their time selling, and when you ask, like you said, Mommy no get money for put me for school. How are you empowering yourself? You exposing yourself to the roadside. It brings more harm than good. You get exposed to a lot of things that at your age you should not even be aware of. So how do we empower women, mothers especially, to know that the boys and the girls have equal rights? You should not favor that. No, this one a man picking. If I say man picking go school, how do we empower women how do we empower mothers to let their girl children about the rights to education for their girl children?
Okay, let me take that. First of all, the first thing I will say is, women, we should stop limiting ourselves, because in most scenarios, the women themselves are still the problem. Because, yes, we know men are superior, they are the heads of the home, and there are certain decisions that they should take. But you, as a woman, also stand up for your rights. Because we still have women that even if their rights are being violated, you come there, they'll still tell you, no, live and so. Na mama Saidi correct me. What about yes?
Funny enough.
Yes. So when we talk about education, you will see even in a household, when you talk about issues of menstrual hygiene, you see this the husband that is making decisions on things like that. Does he menstruate? Does he know about all does he know about all that? So I believe women can be empowered through many ways. We say Fortuna Life, we have a women empowerment center, we have a vocational training center. Any community we go to for sensitization, we tell them we have this here. You can come there, you can learn whatsoever you want to learn. Even to you all out there who are listening, for this we do not limit it only to teenagers. We have a vocational training center. Our head office is at Sandpit. So we have a vocational training center there. You can come there. We have Togo, beads designing, bleach making, and all that. Empower yourself. Bring something to the table so that when the man stands to talk, you self, say you did try for yourself and for the picking them. And also, it's some women too. They feel like, yes, I went to school. Had an advanced level, I went to university level, I'll only work in an office.
White collar jobs.
Yes, white collar jobs. I will not see that. Don't open me a smoke container here to sell biscuits and bonbon. We must always start from somewhere. The country is what it is. Job opportunities are very scarce and limited. Now, connections have come into the thing. If you don't have your connections, if you don't have a godfather or godmother, manage the resources that you have available. When you go out, network.
That's right.
Even like you said about seminars and all that, when you go, even if it's in church, there are people who come to church to advertise things after church. Meet them one-on-one. Say, Mommy,
I want to learn.
Yes, I want to learn.
Interested.
Yes, I'm interested. Young girls that are married with kids that are really influential, that when you get married, your husband meets you, you have a phone.
Don't
maybe
work. Stay at home.
You can even social media has made everything easy. You can teach online. You can stay in your house at the comfort of your home and take care of teaching. Online teaching.
That's right.
Then you have money.
A lot of platforms.
A lot of platforms. And the thing is that some of the women too, they do not want to work. And some of them, their husbands are limiting them. And for you out there listening to this right now, with all the degrees you've backed and you're at home because your husband has said you should take care of the children, this is me telling you, you can do both. My boss is an example. I tell her, I say, Mom, you are my role model. She's married with very beautiful kids, but she comes to work, goes back home, takes care of the home, and everything is okay.
Shared responsibility.
Yes, it just depends on how you also program yourself and you do all that. So women, please, let's not limit ourselves. Empower yourself. Use the resources you have to do something. You must always start from somewhere.
Exactly.
Start from somewhere. Don't always wait to start big. Start from somewhere.
Please permit me, while she was saying that sometimes women are their own because of their issues, this thing just came to mind. I learned this from one of my mentors. He said, your life is a sum total of your thoughts. Yes, your life is a sum total of your thoughts. Really, you can just begin by thinking, and when you want to think, ensure you think big. If you go around and you ask an average woman their dreams and their plans, if you get to hear it, hey, Jesus. Like, We limit ourselves to the box, and you can literally see that it's a woman thing. It's everything we're talking about here. But on the other hand, if you call a man and you ask him, oh, I want to build cities, I want to have international companies, I want to do this, I want to do that, start by thinking big. When you start thinking big, you are going to ensure, I'm telling you, you will take it upon yourself to have practical steps that leads you to that place. I have a vision in mind. I know what I want to become. So I took the opportunity to learn more, go for public speaking trainings, attend conferences, because I know where I want to go. So when you have the end product in mind, you will at least start with something. Please do not limit yourself to the house. Like she said, you can do both.
Okay, please let me try to say something. We all know that there's always another end to what we have to say. Take for instance, she was saying that some women are the core reasons why their rights are being violated. I agree 100%. I will never counteract that. Reason being that I come from a Bororo community, and we all know back then it was very difficult for our Bororo parents to send our girls to school.
That's right.
Good. Nowadays, we know Muslims, we have so many core values that we expect our girl children to maintain. For instance, you cannot see me on the road with a mini skirt. That's impossible. Now, when they send some of us to school, what do? We claim that we are civilized Muslims. Yes, you now see some of them wearing those mini skirts. And once their parents back at home find out, first thing the father will say is, I'll remove you from school. Because they believe that school has influenced you to do that. Meanwhile, it is maybe societal influence, like people
Peer
living
pressure.
in the villages to come to Moliko to study. Some of them, once they are, let me say, they are familiar with the life in Moliko, you see them start putting on wigs, long eyelashes, nails, of which they all know that those are things
against
that
their culture.
we don't do. We are not supposed to do. You see them in clubs with short skirts, even worse than what a non-Muslim is wearing. So tell me how you encourage your father back home or another person's father to send their children to school. So you see that sometimes we are the reason why we are being violated.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm saying this because I've seen it so many times where parents will say, if I send this my child to school, or one noto, this speaking so go spoil. Yes, that is the belief. They know that once you go, you're going to get mixed up with the
with the societal
of course
issues.
So that is one of the reasons why you see some parents even till now still have that, let me say, phobia, or maybe they're still resistant to the fact that a girl child should have education. They are scared for those children. It's not because they don't want that child to go, but the society, the things that they are exposed to are just too many. So be wherever you are, be yourself. You're a Muslim, you can slay as a Muslim.
Of course.
You can slay with your long dress and your
know.
hijab on, and you'll be still very beautiful.
I've been looking at you like, my God.
That's the irony that most of us fail to understand, that you must not change your identity
That's right.
to be the better version of yourself. So I'm encouraging all my Muslim sisters, don't push our fathers to the wall. Don't push them to violate this right. Our moderator called us here today to fight for this right, to advocate for this rights of girls and women in particular. So let's not be the barrier. I'm begging.
Thank you very much. Like she rightly said, let's not be the barrier to our rights. You don't want to like she said, in her community, you don't want to anger your parents, to be scared to send you out there, because I prefer to keep your dignity, your dignity as a woman, than to send you out there to go and get educated, and then your dignity, you come back to the community and you don't have any dignity. There's nothing to show for it. So it's very imperative for you all out there, in as much as we want our parents, we want ourselves to be educated, you can educate yourself. There are some certain things that societal norms that you know, if I go against, I'm no longer this person. If you see me on the street moving half naked, even though they always say let's not judge people like we see them, but then there's a message you're passing across, even if you are not aware. Like it takes you unaware. People look at you and they have a different connotation about what is happening in your life. So you just want to give the right image about yourself. Be yourself. Like she said, be yourself. There's nothing you should hide about yourself. If there's someone out there who appreciates you, they're going to appreciate you for who you are, not for what you keep doing. So that's a very laudable input. And we also want to look at a situation where, maybe I'll talk on special needs. Children with special needs. I know some parents, like I said earlier, they are not open with these children, they still do not accept the condition of their children. And they tend to keep these children at home. You see some very big children with special needs not going to school. The parents will say, no, my pikin no get that problem. My pikin they fine. I want my child. Yes, you know, this is what they keep saying, like my pikin no get that problem. So what is it that you people, how do you people sensitize these parents? Do you people move house by house? Maybe there are some children that will start school, maybe midterm, they are nowhere to be found. Their parents have kept them. Maybe they are not proud enough to be moving around with these children and all of that. How do you sensitize these parents to continue educating their children despite their condition?
Okay, the first thing I would like to tell these parents is that it is a human right that every child goes to school. And it has been stipulated in all the conventions, be it the UN or the Cameroon laws, that persons with disabilities should have the right to accessible education. Yes, that's the word. They should have access to education. But now, you as a parent, if you're keeping this child at home, you're killing that child.
That's right.
And I'll blame you because you have not even done anything to find out if at all there is a school somewhere that's addressing the needs of this child. A school somewhere that welcomes this child in an inclusive environment that would permit that child to learn and achieve like any other learner. So you see that the blame goes back to you, the parent. In your own part, you didn't do anything. Of which, if you ask, you must definitely find an answer.
Definitely.
We have your smartphones. You can just type inclusive schools in Buea. And a list of them will appear.
So many.
Inclusive schools in Cameroon, you see so many. So are you going to give the excuse that I did not know about this school? The more reason why my child is at home. Let's put social media aside. Let's assume you don't have a smartphone. What do? Communicate with people. Don't be too stingy with information as a parent. Yes, I'm saying stingy because some of these parents, even when we have encounters with them in school, they are afraid to open up and tell us about their children. And we cannot help you if you don't open up.
Right.
So first things first, you can meet somebody. I would say I will not say I'm too renowned in my field, but at least I can say that if you engage with me in a conversation, definitely I must tell you something about what I do. You will not go like, all my friends know I'm a special educator. People call me advocate. I agree. Because whenever I talk with people, I let them know what I do, what I can do to help. For instance, there was a Muslim parent who knew nothing about inclusive education. So another person in the community directed that person to me. When the man came to me, I went to his house, saw the child, did a one-on-one consultation. Then I told the man, our school is an inclusive school. Where is the school? At St. Rita Foundation, Bakweri Town. I told the man, just come here and you see that your child will achieve and progress like any other child. Because that child has repeated class 1, I think 2 times. So for the 3rd time, the father removed him.
You know, some of them, they are forcing these children on normal education,
on
like
the regular.
Yes,
Them to go
of
and
course.
exactly.
That is it.
They
Of
are
which
not.
some regular teachers have very little knowledge about children with special needs. So they will pay less attention and sometimes even punish them for a certain behavior, thinking that maybe they are being stubborn or violent in class. Whereas something is wrong somewhere. So I'm still calling on regular teachers as well. If you check my post on LinkedIn, you'll see so many posts why I was laying emphasis on the fact that if you're a regular teacher, don't limit yourself to what you learned maybe from training. You learned from training. So what I'm saying is, most at times we like to have discussions with these parents and like she said, network with people. You may not have access to quality education, but you may have access to somebody who can help you. Me, for instance, people from my community, I teach children with disabilities from my community for free. Once I find out that there's a child with a disability somewhere, if it is where I can access, I go there, do inquiries, and if my schedule permits, I take the child for lessons. I do what I can do.
That you're empowering your community.
I do what I can do to help that child. Not because I want something in return or whatsoever, but I feel that there is the need for me to give back to these parents. And some of them have already lost hope that, imagine for us, they had issues sending us to school. What more about a child with special needs. So if I can go closer to these parents, once I fish you out, especially in Buea, I must visit you. Even if we're not friends, you become my friend, and I go closer to your child telling you that this child has a future. This child can achieve a lot. And in my own little way, there's a Rita, and I will always talk about it. Send these children to school. You're not wasting your money. So I think that's somehow helping in one way.
Thank you very much. And we are talking, us here, we are advocates for this, right? So how can you, as an individual, I want us to give our individual perspectives, how we can, as individuals, maybe I'll start with you, Larissa. Okay, maybe as an individual, how do you as an individual help empower women out there about their rights? We are here, we are trying to sensitize the women, but then what do you do on an individual level to make sure that these women are aware of their rights?
Okay, on an individual level, though Truth in Our Life Association, we do door-to-door sensitizations.
Okay.
We visit churches, and the thing is, let me know if you're fortunate, but lucky enough, we have projects running in most communities around.
Okay.
And in as much as our projects are focused on child protection, we work with children, an activity does not pass without us doing sensitization with the parents.
Yeah.
Because we believe that maybe they are ignorant, they don't even know about these rights. Maybe I think one of us mentioned some of them feel it's very okay.
That's right.
Yes, and that's why they're doing it. So at an individual level, Truth in Our Life, me, I spearhead those campaigns, door-to-door sensitizations in churches, even in marketplaces. And like I said, we have a center that we come there. There are a good number of skills there that you can come and acquire, and it's for free. So, but some of the women, they still don't want to come. Our center is in Pakuri Town. You come, you learn for free. At the end of the day, if we see a situation, we give you little startup capital for you to go and start up something little for yourself and for the children. I believe without we have empowered you enough to take care of yourself. So that is just it. At an individual level, I do not do anything, but Truth in Our Life, that is what we do at the community level. And even if when we get to the community, we still inform them about the center for them to come. Even in the community, if you check our pages, I've gone to Miselele, My 14, many communities, we buy the ingredients, we go there, we teach you people, something like bleach or the Jabe, right? We go, we teach them, you have known, right? Buy, make it and get to us. We give you customers. We know shops, we know people who are in need of all this, and that's a very lucrative business. Our adolescent girls, since we don't have money, teach them little things like Scotch egg, granola sweets. They can also empower themselves. When we have activities, the good things that we have activities, they do it, they bring it. By the time I've been done with activities, still among their peers, they buy it. At times we just encourage them to buy it, and share to the rest of the people.
Thank you very much, Larissa. And to you, Doreen, what is it that you do on a personal, maybe at the comfort of your home, what is it that you do to empower women on their rights?
Okay, thank you again. Generally, I think it's just about raising awareness, teaching them how it ought to be, psycho-educating them generally. And then at a personal level and at the level of our organization, Prime Counseling Services Cameroon, we do a lot of referrals. We do not do a lot like Teen Alive is doing. It's not a part of what we get to do. But we have referral pathways where when we get to see the need, we know where to refer you to, and you could get all the assistance you need. We do a lot of community mobilizations and awareness, all that. We go to churches, Jangi houses. From time to time, we have those calls just coming in when we just go there to just teach them, tell them better, and open them to more opportunities. At a personal level, that's me. I get to empower women by just sponsoring some of them to go learn some of these skills. I think recently I have pictures here, some of my girls in Limbe who just went to learn how to do cake, and they were like, Ma, we can do cakes, and they were so happy. So personally, when I see the need and I get to assist. Generally, I think that's
Thank you very much. And to you, Nafi, any last words for our parents out there with children with special needs? I always want to put you on that because you're so intentional about these children. I feel like they should applaud you every day because you're always very intentional about them, be it in your community, be it where you teach. What is it you're telling parents with children with special needs on their own rights? Like, how do they amplify the rights of these children they have?
Okay, my dear parents, I hope you're watching me right now, and I'll still say that these children, they can empower themselves if we give them the chance to be empowered. And for you to empower that child, you should empower your own self first before you start giving empowerment to that child. Do not limit them. Do not let their disabilities define them. Because once you do that, you're killing a potential somebody. Please, I'm begging you parents, if you don't know about a child's disability, get to people wherever, just communicate your needs with people, even though it's not too safe to share your personal information with other people, but at least you can trust one or two people. Me personally, I do one-on-one consultations with my parents with special needs. If you're having issues, maybe helping your child or giving directions to where that child can pick up from, then I'm readily available. You can get to me via LinkedIn, Nafisatu Isa, or on Facebook, Nafisatu Isa. Also, my email is on my page, so you can always reach out to me. And behold, if it is something that I cannot handle, like she said, referrals are very important. I would always direct you to somebody who knows somebody who can help you in one way or the other. Do not be limited saying that you did not know. Ignorance nowadays is no longer existing. Yes, if you say it ignorance, I'll exile you.
Thank you so much, Nafisatu. And we are running out of time, but then we hope whatever we've said on set here today is going to help you out there. You, that mother who keeps your child away, who keeps your child off her rights, and you know we have empowered you, we have sensitized you a little on how you could go about empowering yourself first as a woman and then taking care of your children. Thank you so much, my panelists, Doreen, Larissa, and beautiful Nafi. Thank you so much for being part of the panel. Thank you for sharing your views. Thank you for sharing your insights. It was a very, very interesting session. We continue to pray and we continue to exhort all women out there to work on your rights. You are a woman, you can do it. You should join hands together and be able to empower yourselves in your community, in the country, and the world at large. Thank you for being part of the program. I've been Magdalene Wundo for presentation. Stay tuned to Divine Mercy Radio Television and keep the rendezvous next week for another interesting edition.